Yeah. Did those turnovers did they come in greater quantities? It seems like it, without me going through game by game. It seemed like they came in greater quantities earlier in the season as
Yeah.
well.
First 5 weeks. And of course, especially in the Oregon State game where they had the 4 interceptions of Chance Nolan against the Beavers. And the gusher, it was flowing through those first 5 games through Arizona State in week 5 on October 1 against Washington State. That's when the turnover faucet began to dry up a little. Got a lot of turnovers from DTR and UCLA later in the season, but really from week 6 against Washington State on October 8th through the Cal game, that section of the season, that's when the turnover faucet really began to dry up for USC.
So, folks, in addition to checking out Matt's work at Trojans Wire, I had alluded to a lot of off-season content that we were hoping to get to here at the Voice of College Football. And, I'll present a number of these once I post these and present these to Matt to get his thoughts on conference rankings. What we're in the process of doing, Matt, is I'm taking all the Power 5 results from this past season, and I'm not just going by record, because records can be deceiving. I'm putting the games into context based on the seeded matchups, the seeds, and I'm weighting the games based on the seedings, either raising the weight of the game because it was a seeded matchup that favored one side or the other, or it takes away. And so we're going to look at conference rankings. We're going to break down the conferences. Again, 1 through 131 rankings are coming later this week. We're going to look at our way too early top 25. Going to review the first-year head coaches, guys like Dan Lanning and others, and how they did in their first year and rank their first-year performances. The new hire coaches as well, Luke Fickell, Matt Rule, and others throughout the country, and how we rate them as we look forward to the 2023 season. You've got the best non-conference matchups. Who could be the next TCU? I know a lot of people love Florida State emerging this next season. So we'll look at some of those candidates to be the next dark horse to break up the college football playoff party. And as we had talked about just a few minutes ago, a lot of scheduling proposals out there with the SEC adding Oklahoma, Texas, the Big Ten, USC, UCLA. The Big 12 has to release its opponents and schedule for this next season. So there's a lot to think about there as well. So a lot of good stuff there.
One thing we have to mention before we close up shop here, Mark, is just that Cam Rising returning, Brant Queethy returning at tight end for Utah. Like everyone on Utah of significance is coming back, or just almost everyone at least.
Yeah.
So you have a fully loaded Utah. You have Washington coming back with Michael Penix, Bo Nix returning, Coach Prime getting things rolling at Colorado. Like the Pac-12, I mean, it is hard to think about a preseason or an off season in recent memory when the Pac-12 had this much buzz, this much national attention. Like the Pac-12 is not a punching bag. And the funny thing, Mark, or at least the strange thing, is that like the Pac-12 still found a way to face plant in the bowl season, with UCLA blowing it against Pitt, USC blowing it against Tulane, and Utah getting tossed around Pasadena by Penn State. And yet people aren't talking about that. People aren't talking about those failures because of all the talent and high-end skill, veteran skill from upperclassmen that you're seeing throughout the Pac-12. I mean, this is going to be a fun finale in the Pac-12 before USC and UCLA mosey on over to the Big Ten. It's going to be a fun season. We're going to have there are going to be some great games. Like, that there's going to be some 41-38 thrillers. Like, how can you not have several of them at some point? And it's I mean, like Pac-12 football has never been this interesting in a lot of years. So it's going to be a thrill ride.
In a lot of years, no doubt. And despite a 3-4 bowl record, Yeah, USC and UCLA, so very close to making that a 5-2 bowl record if they wouldn't have tripped over themselves down the stretch.
Roger Dodger. Just one thing to say, Roger Dodger. UCLA 62, USC 33. Okay? Okay? All right.